The falsification of Mesoma's results concluded confirms she is not only cheat. She is not the only cheat. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Mayor Akipelu. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Perception is difficult to change when poorly managed. The political situation in Abia State, southeast Nigeria, presents us with an example. Governor Alex Oti has explained why the portraits of Bola Tinubu is not yet in all offices in the state's government house, Umahia. The governor, through his special advisor on media and publicity, Ferdinand Okioma, said the new administration and the state government placed Tinubu's portrait in some offices and ordered more. It dismissed claims that the absence was due to his administration's non-recognition of Tinubu as the president. Jide, what's the meaning of this?
Well, you know, the naysayers, the enemies of our country, are always coming up with all kinds of issues that they should not actually bother themselves about. They will magnify to the point that you start thinking, what's going on, what's going on? People will be asking questions. What we were told was, the Abia governor does not recognize Bola Tinubu as president. And there's no truth to it. When they had their FEC meeting the other day, he was in attendance. He was even one of the people who spoke about government's plans to mitigate the effect of fuel subsidy removal. So if you do not recognize the president, is it the vice president that you will now recognize? Whereby the vice president will preside over a meeting where you are present and you then speak on behalf of governors and other people in attendance. Because I heard the Abia governor speaking about plans that government was going to take to ease the burden on our people. So they've explained now, and I believe their story, because within that short time, it is not possible to have enough copies to go around all the offices. All that the mischief maker needs to do is just go to a few offices where the portraits are not present and then go to town. They're always looking for that piece of mischief that they can throw out there on social media, where their friends,
gullible allies,
their gullible friends and their OAPs with little knowledge of national issues would then feast upon it. You ask yourself, when they said that Shiwaju had such a long convoy,
yes,
you then ask that, do these people really know what they are doing?
They took time to criticize that convoy.
Just hold on a little bit for me before I lose track of what I want to say. Does a president include BRT buses in his convoy? People went to receive a president. Supporters, political leaders, people looking for appointments, ministerial appointment and board appointment and all that. All of them, you know how it is in Nigeria. Made them see me say I did there so that they not go forget.
They went to their SUVs, went to their...
All of them, they parked. I was returning from Abuja. I saw those vehicles parked by the side of the road, stretching long distance right up to MM2. You can imagine. See how long.
From the presidential wing.
And I couldn't even count all the BRT buses that were there. And then you call that a president's convoy? Come on. The man has not moved into Aso Rock yet. He still lives in his Asokoro residence. People see him when he goes to work. Do you see such convoys as long as that when he's going to work? I mean, the industry, the mischief industry is such a fertile one in Nigeria. And people that you even expect them to be able to reason concretely, you'll be surprised that their reasoning is as pedestrian as somebody who never saw the 4 walls of a primary school.
There's nothing you can do.
So this is the thing. Now you are making an issue out of it. Is that the president's convoy with BRT?
Ambulances.
I mean, I just don't understand. Is that what you see when he moves around in Abuja? These are people, Lagosians, party men who just wanted to receive him, for them to see that, Mr. President, we are with you, so that you remember us in your kingdom. This is what those people wanted to do. This is what they do.
Long.
And you now call that his convoy with BRT buses? So when he's going to work, he goes with BRT buses. You could see that those are not a part of the presidential convoy. But you prefer to mislead people just to give the person a bad name. You did all of that before the election, it amounted to nothing. But you still would not stop.
So he couldn't, his hands were shaking, his legs were shaking till now.
Babawe know well. They shouted Melokon. So, and I asked the question on the day that he received his certificate. I was sitting here, I asked, I said, that hand is not shaking up. When he lifted it up, the video is still there. Just making a mountain out of a molehill. What is now the Abia governor has explained? They will be shopping for another mischief that they can make. This one, they won't stop here.
No.
Because somebody said Ojojúmọ́ lẹkún alábòsí. They won't stop. It's like what the Yorubas call Egbere. Egbere's attitude is to cry all night long. I mean, this has to stop.
Mia, what do you make of this portrait or no portrait?
I think it is right that Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president of Nigeria. You don't need a symbol to validate that. So whether you have his portrait, whether you have his portrait in offices or not, it does not change the fact that he's the president of Nigeria. And so it is not. So it is not. Yes, it is not an issue that because his portrait is not in some few offices in Abia, that means they do not recognize him. In fact, it is taken that he's the president. Nobody until the court says otherwise. He doesn't need anybody's validation. He's there. Everybody knows he's the president, and he's doing the job of the president. So the portrait is just a symbol to represent that he's the president of Nigeria. So it's not an issue. It's, I don't think we should waste our time about some people who want to create mischief when it comes to things. Whether his portrait is in an office or not, he's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And nothing can change that.
All right. We have been admonished to make hay while the sun shines, which underscores the importance of timely action in addressing issues. Borno State, Northeast Nigeria, has begun adoption of measures to cushion the biting economic effects of fuel subsidy removal on its citizens. The governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, released 80 buses and pickup vans for free transportation of farmers from their communities to the farm. Out of the 80 vehicles, 50 luxury buses are under the management of the state-owned Borno Express Corporation, while the state is hiring 30 pickup vans. Governor Zulum urged the farmers to cooperate with soldiers, police, and other security agencies deployed on roads to protect the citizens. I think beyond the federal government, state governments are also taking measures. Like in Kwara State, they've just declared 3 working days instead of the normal 5 working days, so that it will reduce the number of time that they have to board transportation and everything. So every state will take similar measure while waiting for the federal government to address the big palliative. Jide?
Yes, you know, Governor Zulum is someone who doesn't want to see the poor people suffer. No governor has personally distributed palliatives even close to what Zulum has done. The palliatives that is distributed to people in just one term, most governors can't distribute in 2 terms. And that's why he's so well respected among his colleagues. And he's the first first-time governor to receive the Zik Award because of his solid performance in Borno State. Now, what he has done is to provide 50 luxury buses and pickup vans. Those pickup vans will be conveying farmers to their farms. He has said repeatedly that he wants farmers to return to their farms, and that is one of the reasons they are keeping those communities as safe as possible, so that when the farmers are able to return to their farms, even the population of the IDPs will reduce. He's trying his best to get IDPs to return home, but they can't return home until all those ancestral lands of theirs are cleaned of these undesirable elements killing people. So now, this will have a positive effect on even the GDP of the state. When farmers can produce a lot more, it will ensure that the issue of food security is addressed. If farmers can produce a lot, then you know that it will drive up prices. And Borno State is one of the most fertile states in Nigeria, easily one of the most fertile. There is virtually any major crop in Nigeria that you can grow there. In fact, the orange coming from Damboa in Borno State is the sweetest that I've ever tasted in the Damboa area. So you wonder how come the orange is this sweet? You know, so he knows that his people are hardworking. They don't want to depend on handouts in those IDP camps. They want to go and work on their own. They don't want to rely on anyone. So all the governor is doing is to encourage them, make the situation more conducive for them to be able to farm. He was telling me earlier this year when I went to Borno State that farmers' yield for the year 2022 was tremendous compared to previous years. And he traced that to the fact that more people can go to their farms because security is better. More of those hitherto-occupied communities are now have been cleansed of Boko Haram, and the people can return and farm. You can see the determination of those people. And even Boko Haram is going into those farms to slaughter some of them because they don't want people to return to their farms. They want the climate of fear to continue.
Yes, yes.
But the people are determined, and the governor, they have a governor who is determined to resettle them. So all that needs to be done now is for us to improve the security of farmers in those farms, because you can see that he has actually targeted farmers by setting aside those 30 pickup vans. For other people commuting within the state capital, they can use those buses like school children and the rest of them. So now they have to keep those farms secure, because what is the point in transporting people to farms where they get killed by Boko Haram? You know, and Boko Haram will not even use, they don't use guns to kill those farmers. They slaughter them because guns, the sound of gunshots usually attracts soldiers, and they don't want that. So we have to commend the governor for setting the pace once again.
Yes.
You know, for setting the pace once again in terms of alleviating the sufferings of our people.
Mayor,
there is no doubt that this subsidy removal is biting hard on our people. And
expected.
Everybody, all local government, state and federal level, they must come up with measures to cushion the effects. Either this compressed natural gas that they are talking about, they have to make it available to our people who want to use it, so that even cost of transportation will come down when people can use fuel that is in the region of maybe 150 naira per litre against 550, 570 in some places. When I traveled in some parts of Ekiti State, 550 530, 550 in my hometown, because my dad has warned me never to call it a village again. It's 700 naira per liter. So you can imagine how can people cope.
The same thing, Mayor. When the effect is biting harder than we envisaged.
Yes, Governor Zulum is one of my favorite governors, and I want to commend him again for this initiative. It is important that governors must know that while we're waiting for the federal government palliatives that the committee headed by the vice president is working on, it's important that governors should come up with their own palliatives that will help their people. And what Zulum has done is the way to go. When you look at the price that we pay now for fuel, the elites, you and I, can cope better than an average worker. So when you provide buses to be able to take care of school children, government workers and all that, those are the people that that should be the first step. Those are the people that needed to be taken care of when it comes to palliatives before you move to the generality of people. And then the one for the farmers is very nice because part of that problem is food security in Nigeria. And when you put a system in place to take farmers to the farm, it makes it easier for them to be able to do things. So like Dele said, what we now need to complement that is the security to make sure that when you get these farmers to these farms, they are in a position to farm and know that there will be security situation where they won't be able to do anything. That will negate what you want to achieve in the first place. So I want to commend him, but then I want to recommend that to other governors to quickly come up with palliatives in the short run that can solve this problem of removal of fuel subsidy. But yes, it's expensive, it's biting. Everybody has to acknowledge that. But like I used to tell people, that is a major step for us to do. Everybody that knows anything about economics have commended it, have said that is the way to go. For us, subsidizing people as far as Sudan, I saw the African boss saying that up to Sudan, that they still truck Nigerian fuel up to Sudan. So it's a step to go. It's going to be difficult at the initial stage, but I believe that eventually we will get over it.
Angela, in terms of this, the poverty level and to ameliorate it for the federal government, I don't think it should be targeted at the workers alone for the federal level.
No.
Because the number of people that actually...
Some of what they plan to do will not benefit workers alone. For example, the desire to bring in vehicles that will run on some electric vehicles, for example, or simply, I think Lagos has even blazed the trail. That is far less expensive than vehicles that run on petrol. And of course, too, the compressed natural gas. I know that Alhaji Garuba, ABG, who pioneered even satellite dish business in our country, he has a lot of vehicles that he's selling that run on this compressed natural gas. So, in my view, and I'm happy that even the NNPC CEO has been talking about it, we need to expedite action on this. I was told that the immediate past minister of Petrol tried to get us to focus on this, but the cabal intent on constantly bringing in imported fuel did not want us to go along that route. And the cheap fuel, by way of compressed natural gas, will help our people. It will make transportation less costly for people, yes, and less difficult for even transport owners to run, to make the business less difficult for them to run. Because before you buy spares are very expensive because they are imported, And you know the value of our currency has been going down. So even the cost of spares will go up, allied with the cost of petrol. So we've got to do something. If we focus on compressed natural gas, for example, it's between 100 to 150 naira per liter in terms of compared to the petrol. So a lot more people will be able to afford it. Yes, some people will talk about the danger inherent in it, but once we get used to it, there's no problem. That is the way to go. Let states bring in those vehicles, bring them, a lot of them, because I heard them talking about it during that National Economic Council meeting, that they intend to bring a lot of them and electric cars as well. The era of depending on fossil fuel has to go.
100%.
We have to depend on other sources of energy. Renewable energy, for example, is cheap. It's cheaper than energy from the national grid. Let's focus on communities in the rural areas, because these are the people who do not have so much money. Let's focus on business hubs in those communities and get the Rural Electrification Agency, that has been doing a good job anyway, to help our people deliver renewable energy for them so that they can run on renewable energy. Look at Unilag. They have renewable energy that REA installed. In those days, they used to quarrel with the VC during exams when there's no light. I remember one time when the VC had to come out and the students were going to riot. Today, Unilag has its own standby electricity plant, renewable energy. Luth, they also have it. Luth now is 24 hours. They have electricity, renewable energy.
It's good.
It's not from the national grid, because the light from the national grid is not reliable. So they have it. And the outgoing CMD was telling me that, we have not failed to enjoy electricity for more than a year because they gave them renewable energy. So as they are doing it, giving it to schools and all that, there are local communities where people need this electricity to also drive small businesses. We need to go there, because for me now, if I do not have to buy petrol because light is not constant in my area, part of the pain of this subsidy is gone.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
You know, for example, in my dad's house, we used to send him money for petrol and all that. And when petrol was difficult, I used to send Alege to go and deliver petrol to him. But today he has solar. So that problem is gone. So I think that government can still do a lot for our people before the federal government unveils its big plan to alleviate these pains. And just as you said, how many are civil servants anyway? The bulk of our people are not civil servants. So we must target those things that will be impactful on all categories of our people, not just civil servants.
I even discovered that even stable power supply.
Yes.
In my area, if we have power supply overnight and we are able to use it overnight, the consumption of petrol that you have to put in your generator.
Yes, power supply has improved, but I think it can be better. And what I think the government should do, the federal government, when they are looking at their priorities, the first one is that the government should encourage governors that have mega cities to go like Lagos and do rail. If the blue line, when it comes on, I think they say they're coming on in August, and then when the red line joins it, a lot of people will not have need to use cars. They can go by rail, which will reduce their cost. Then the electric cars, and about 4 or 5 companies are doing electric cars now. I think government should partner with them and encourage people to go that route, maybe through loans or sometimes buying these vehicles to distribute to their staff. But when we encourage electric cars, it will reduce the pressure that we have presently when it comes to fuel. The next one has to do with the electricity thing. Because now government has signed that they have decentralized electricity generation and distribution. So states should as a matter of urgency, start working on that now. So the more each state can provide to their communities, the less pressure on the national grid, and the less money we'll spend on fuel.
Okay. All right. We'll take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still John this Hangout. We'll be right back after this time out. Please don't go away.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
School, I need students, but I need teacher.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices re-echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything. If the tide is high, everybody run for safety.
Their tears leave a sweet sour taste for all their demands. A familiar call beckoning for change. In our world, no one expects a disaster to happen. But when it does, we'll be there to x-ray all sides, from the east to the west, north and south. Community Forum will examine the oddities and challenges to economic development, as well as issues yearning for government intervention. Watch fresh episodes of Community Forum on Sundays by 9:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
Thank you for staying with us. Punishing bad behavior must be seen to be done, at least to serve as deterrence. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is set to prosecute the suspended resident electoral commissioner for Adamawa State, Udu Yunusa Ari, as well as 215 other electoral offenders. The commission said it will begin legal action following completion of investigation into the activities of the electoral officers. This Adamawa man, you know I was in Adamawa myself to cover that election. This was the man that worked wonders. We adjourned after 11 on a Saturday to resume 11 a.m. the next day. Before you say Jack Robinson, by 9 a.m., this man was there with the Commissioner of Police, with the NSCDC guy, and because our OB guys, OB crew, they actually slept there. So that's why we were the only TV station that actually captured this scene. Yes. He just came in solo, he just declared the result. The result he wanted to declare was on that table. One of the agents picked it, he removed it from his hand, and he just spoke extempo like that I thereby declare so person as the winner of the election. Look, I would like to book on this,
You know this, you see, when they accuse TVC of bias.
Okay. Yes.
The person he declared is an APC.
We stood there.
Yet.
Throughout,
we stood by the.
They were reporting us. They were putting pressure.
See, all these people come up with infantile arguments
that
TDP is not balanced, TDC is this and that. They will not see this kind of situations.
Governor Finitiri is still looking for me till today to commend me. I'm saying it on national TV. Governor Finitiri has been asking after my number from everybody.
See, if you didn't
to say this guy,
if you didn't carry this thing, would the world have known what transpired?
I say in Adamawa State.
And we had a choice to say, okay, to be politically correct, to do what we felt was, and immediately after that incident, journalists Hangout. We had journalists.
Yes. I remember on that.
It was still the same position that we took. We didn't say, Fintiri is PDP, this and that. No, we are not trained like that. It's the people who did not go through.
We were working against the interest of APC.
It's the people who do not go through training as journalists.
You want to not win the election?
It's the people who do not go through training, real training. When I look back at some of the people that I passed through, I will be destroying their legacy by coming here to be patently biased. To say I'm supporting this party. We could have supported APC. So those of them who sit on social media to accuse us, they are not biased. Ayo, let me say something for the first time today. when the NBC accused us of bias of not allowing other parties to come on the program, I then sat down.
Did a compendium.
We compiled all the people that we brought on our current affairs shows. We had far more people from other parties. Labour Party, look at the Labour Party candidate in Enugu. You know how many times we interviewed him? Labour Party, others. They were far more than the APC people that we brought on the show. And we sent it to NBC. NBC never replied. Because they knew that, yes, indeed,
they could verify
these people, they could verify.
Yes, it's verifiable. They're recording.
Yes, they could verify.
They have the records.
So it is there, and maybe I will even publish that in one day. Let people see date by date the political parties, the individuals that we brought on our shows. So we had the choice at that time to say, okay, indeed, it was Binani that won. But the fact did not show that she won.
On social media, they started saying congratulations to the first female governor. Everything. We stood. No.
Because it didn't happen. What will you gain? If you know the internet doesn't lie. If you sit here now and you tell lies, in future they will bring it out to say, okay, look at what Ayo was saying, and look at what Jide was saying. We refuse to give them that opportunity.
At all.
So at the end of the day, the truth prevailed. Binani was behind Fintiri. At the time when this aberrant INEC...
this one. I met him. I thought it was a serious one. I met him. He was acting
serious. You thought he was a gentleman.
Yes.
That's what you wanted to say. You thought he was a gentleman.
Who do you, sir? Who wanted the interview?
Who left as PAMSEC? PAMSEC. In Bauchi, somebody who rose to that level. See the way he disgraced himself. We are waiting for them to put him on trial. If they don't put him on trial, if they don't put him on trial, shame on them. Because they must put him on trial.
He came with
Nigerians want to see him put on trial.
Civil defense, and you thought, look, but we knew that it was wrong for that. Is only the morning officer
to do that.
You know what?
The reg had no power to do that.
You know why I'm happy? I'm happy that INEC wants to prosecute all these electoral offenders, especially those who work with INEC. Because a lot of them made INEC to look bad.
Yes.
With some decisions that they took. Yes. So it's important that we must continue to safety the system. INEC may not be perfect, but they still have to walk through individuals
after the presidential
who may not follow the laid down guidelines. So those who have been found to be complicit in electoral malpractices will be brought to book and made to face the full wrath of the law.
And I'm happy that the NBA has volunteered to provide more than 400 lawyers for the prosecution of these electoral offenders.
Yes.
Because the truth is, INEC will never be able to find the money to prosecute all of these people. Our people can hardly do election without trying to, but the law permits them to.
I know.
Our people can barely go through an election without trying to rig. Thugs and the rest of them, those snatching ballot boxes. At this stage, some was in the east, they even snatched beavers and set ablaze beavers. In the southeast, check it. Look at the report that Ivy Kanu brought. They gathered beavers, burnt beavers. You can imagine. In the southeast, though. So we need such people. By now, they should have arrested them and be ready to put them on trial. What Hudu did should never happen again. The law was clear, and it was meant to protect the integrity of the electoral process, whereby, because RECs are permanent employees.
Yes.
And the chances are that they will have fraternized with politicians so much in a state where they are resident that they cannot be relied upon to be factual, to be objective. That's why they said, okay, you as returning officer, you are in charge, not the REC. And this man, there was an audio clip in Hausa where he was begging one of the returning officers to tamper with results. He said, that's why I gave you a plain sheet, an on-field result sheet. I gave it to you. Help her now. Help her now. He was saying all that. So Hudu is the sort of INEC needs to, even the way they recruit people to serve, to work for INEC, they need to check. Even some of the lecturers that they are using,
people like this will not get to this position.
Some of the lecturers that they are using to are worse than criminals. Look at the one in Akwa Ibom that Guinea jailed.
Yes.
He changed results. And the result he changed in favor of APC. We reported it here. Oh, APC station. Oh, APC journalist. Rubbish talk. We discussed it here. So now, Udu should have his day in court. Yeah, if he does not have his day in court, then shame on the people's duty it is to bring him to justice.
He will have his day in court. He will have his day in court. Because it's important for INEC to even make an example of him.
Yes.
It's important for INEC to make an example of him. So I'm very confident that he will have his day in court.
And I'm happy that they responded swiftly. Because the rest of us know what the law says. INEC did not waste time at all. Immediately, and they sent, immediately they suspended him, they sent our friend in charge of information.
Yes.
The National Commissioner,
Okoye.
They sent him to the place to underline their seriousness, to not allow that aberration to stand. And that aberration didn't stand. We wish the woman good luck. I knew all along that she cannot win the election. I predicted her 3 times that she will not win. So we wish her good luck. Maybe in future she can still win. But you must win through the right way, not through the back door. No.
Through the right way, yes.
All right, and finally, most times it takes one incontrovertible facts for lies to collapse like a pack of cards. The registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, Jamb, Professor Ishak Oloide, has announced that the board has concluded investigation on the case of the 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME candidate, Mesoma Ejikeme, who was accused of fraudulently inflating her score. Professor Oloide added that she is not the only one caught. He explained that there is an industry faking results, but they cannot penetrate Jamb system as it is foolproof. He added that there is evidence to show that the change in Ejikeme's score was done with a collaboration. I think with what happened earlier this morning and everything, this case will be rested and
I just started.
Some people are even calling that, look, Jamb should review their processes and everything. But for this girl, she didn't score 362. And she's not going to be admitted in any Nigerian university in the next 3 years, except if that punitive measure is reviewed and reversed by Jamb.
Those saying that Jamb should review its processes, they are just looking for excuse.
True.
The enemies of Nigeria are always looking for an excuse to magnify an issue and make it look like, oh, that is where the blame should go. They are the ones calling a 19-year-old girl a minor, as if they've not gone to school. How is a 19-year-old girl a minor?
And a very good actor at that.
How is a 19-year-old girl a minor? My own son is 20 years. He will graduate this year. And he has spent 5 years in the university. Yes, computer studies. He's going to graduate this summer. And he's 20. There are people who graduate from university at that age that she's trying to enter university. Yeah. She has 2 ages quoted in her 2 results. Her real result and the one that she faked. What people fail to realize, and we have shown it, let the producer show us again, the result, the format of the result. This is the way it is currently. A4 format. Can you see? Her own result, the one she faked, what she did was to simply impute figures into somebody else's result sheet. They wiped away the result on it and put her own. Look at it. Lift it up. Let us see. You can see that her own is in landscape format. This is the way her own is. Landscape format.
That's the old type.
Yes.
Yes, that's the old type that they used in 2021.
This is the way it is. Cameraman, show me now. the way it is. You can see that this is the way it is. You know? So landscape format is how the 2021 result sheet look like. They used the 2021 results, whereas Jamb had changed it and increased the security features because people were constantly faking results. So Jamb cannot stop people from faking results. Changing processes. People even forge our, what's it called, our passport.
Yeah.
Why is Oluwole popular in Lagos?
That's the headquarters.
That's the headquarters of fakery. There's nothing that they won't fake. Land documents people will fake. Result people will fake. NTI in Kaduna, where teachers are trained, if people fake results, they will say they went through NTI. But they get caught in the final analysis. What this girl did, it was, she simply used that result. You know, this is the way 2021 result sheet was. But the current one, this is the form in which it is standing like this. If you have a son who went through or daughter who sat for Jamb this year, call for his result. His result will not be like what Emesioma is parading. So defending her and saying that, oh, she's a minor. Nigerians are extremely emotional people. When it comes to the truth, we run away. We would rather face emotions.
You know why?
Now, let me just add that the QR code is actually your result.
Yeah.
So when you click on the QR code, when you scan the QR code, it brings out your information, your result. What is written on the result sheet is just an information that the QR, that's further information on what the QR code presents. So when she said that, when people scan this QR code, it brings out a different person. That is the owner of the result. That is the owner of the result. And this girl today admitted that when she sent a message to Jamb, that Jamb replied that she scored 249.
Yeah.
So she has to tell us where she got the 362 that she's going around with. I suspect that there is a band of criminals who sat down with this girl, worked with her. I agree with Professor Loede that she did it in connivance.
Of people. And that's why we should get to the bottom of it.
Because she used her phone number throughout. All of the requests she was making to Jamb are already documented by Airtel. People don't know that all the phone calls that they make, they are transcripts.
Of course.
How did Henry Oka and Co., who planned the October 1 bombing, how did they get them? It was MTN that provided call logs and transcripts of what they were saying, how they were planning, they got them. So this little girl at 19 does not know that technology has already exposed her. All of those text messages, everything,
to print out
all the transactions. She printed, day before yesterday, she printed her real result. But she did not show us.
And that is why people should not put sentiment. She must be made to face the full wrath of the law. People cannot do things, and then when things, one of the problems we have in Nigeria, when somebody has committed a fraudulent act, instead of us to accuse the person that what you have done is wrong, we try now to bring ethnicity and nonsense things to try to justify it. That lady is a crook, but she did not do those things alone. There are some people that work with her. It's important for us to get to that syndicate. She must be made to tell those people who helped her to achieve those things, and those people must be brought to book. That's the basic thing. And another thing that is so sad, that when something like this happens, instead of people to feel scandalized that somebody who is expected to go into university wants to do that fraudulently, some people are trying to chase clout because of that. One character, who they said is a Bitcoin entrepreneur, said, oh, I'm going to give her scholarship anywhere in the world. Even innocent that I expected for them to be embarrassed.
No, they didn't know.
No, what I'm saying is
some of the comments that they are making.
Let me tell you something. Innocent that I expected to be embarrassed, that they did not make due diligence. Because if somebody is announced as the best student, you understand, and you now wanted to give this person scholarship, I expected that a company as big as Innocent will do due diligence. You invite when you want to present the money. That's what I'm saying. When you want to present the money, you are supposed to have somebody from Jamb there to authenticate that, oh, this is the real person that you guys said did that. They didn't do that. And then when they now found themselves in that embarrassment, instead of them to wait to say, okay, let us see what Jamb will come up with, the proof that they will come up with, and we'll look at it ourselves. They were not trying to defend the girl that, oh, the owner of Innocent was still saying that he believed the girl than Jamb. And it's the way we look at our institutions. An institution that is supposed to our students came up and told you that, look, we have features. This thing that this girl was presenting was notification of result. They didn't use that one this year. They'll start using it. So it's obvious that the girl messed up. And that is why I digress. That is why we have to also look at it that maybe we'll have been going through kind of this if INEC server, if results are being uploaded on the INEC server real time. That means the people who could do this,
they will still be arguing.
Yes, they could manipulate the result that will be public, and there will have been chaos everywhere. Because they will say, oh, look at the server, look at that is the result there.
And we'll start
so
arguing.
It is important for us to check those people. Even when the lady was a very good actor. Somebody that I'm now acknowledged that, oh, she's got 249. But she did a presentation and she was saying, oh, she's traumatized. Oh, this. Yeah, and somebody was trying to coach her what to say. It is important for us to get all those people that work with her and let them food the full wrath of the law. Yes, people will fake things. So there's nothing Jamb can do about that. People will always do crime. People will always fake things. But when you are caught, you must be made to pay for it.
And they are saying she's a minor. 19-year-old.
No, minor. In fact, this 19-year-old that's supposed to...
How can a 19-year-old...
In another place will have finished university itself.
Yeah? Some of them, at her age, people are making babies.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are calling her a minor. How you say a minor? This thing, the truth of this matter is exposed already. Jamb said it has concluded its investigation. I agree with Jamb.
And Jamb
there is no long and short story.
But the police should not take it up and make sure that those people who
they need to find them.
Yes, those who
that's the job of DSS. And I know to see the good thing is all of those calls that they made to come together and plan this. DSS has the facility to distill calls. So I just pity them. We've seen people who in the past threatened Jamb. Oh, we are taking you to court, only for them to apologize.
2 years ago it happened. One guy that wanted to apologize.
We see some silly NGOs threatening Jamb and saying all sorts of things. We've seen old men in Nigeria, highly placed people in Nigeria, who really should be ashamed of themselves. People that you attempted to ask the question, how did they bring up their own children? They are piling pressure on Jamb. Don't do this, don't do this. So you can see why we are in the state that we find ourselves. Yeah. A nation where speaking the truth looks like an aberration.
And ironically, the lady with the girl, the lady with the is from the same state.
I have Hassan from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Hassan.
Good evening, everybody.
Yep.
Look, the case of this girl is a case of grand connivance and syndicates. And the 419 going to another level in this country, to the extent of people cooking up academic qualification to rake in money, and they have the guts to even fight an institution. Look, Jamb can be corrupt in the past, not now. There was a new sheriff in town in Jamb, and there's no way you can arrogate wrongdoing to the present Jamb. And they brought over the fact before every one of us. So please, let them make sure that they get to the root of it. Yes. People behind it, the real person behind the masquerade, let them get them out so that everybody will be free in this country. It's
Thank
a serious
you.
problem.
Thank you, Hassan. Thank you, Hassan. So, I don't think this
it's
is
the same
over.
thing. It's what we're
House
saying.
of Rep
You know, even the Anambra State government have now set up a panel to investigate it, because part of the problem was that, in fact, it was Anambra State government that got in touch with Jamb.
Jamb.
That was how it was
That
exposed.
was what, yes.
So now, I read a report that they've now constituted a committee to investigate this, and then that they will now come up with the result. But like I said, what is important is that this guy didn't do this thing alone. Those who facilitated doing those things have to be identified and brought to book.
And if his parents are among the...
They should be part of it. Even the same girl too must face the music.
Look at the little girl that Trinity sexualized in one of his videos.
Yes.
It was discovered that it was with the connivance of the parents.
Of the parents, yeah.
So they've arrested the parents and they've locked them up.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Wicked parents.
Yes.
I knew that the Trinity guy used to, you know, because of this social media thing, and they make money because of these clicks and views. They do all kinds of things. I used to attract people. And I knew that Trinity guy would get into trouble, because there was a time that one of his favorite things was pouring water on people. And he would just do that, and he would justify it that you are doing prank.
Sometimes he will pour a lubo on people.
So, but now, he's in serious trouble, because he's a minor that was involved in this latest prank. He's in jail. He's going to have serious trouble.
They'll keep adjourning the matter till the guy...
Your father mentioned your age. The age that your father mentioned is different. The date of birth is different from the one in the certificate that you are holding. Why should it be difficult for Nigerians to know that this guy is a scamster?
No, of course. It's obvious. It's obvious that, you know, that sentiments has changed. You know, initially, when she came, that's why I said she's a very good actor. When she came out, I was trying to tell her she's traumatized and that she got this from Jamb Porter and all that. And everybody was looking at it, that, oh, this girl, she said she's not capable of doing what she has been accused of doing. But to this morning, it's obvious that the girl is just an actor and a crook.
And she said that when she sent a message to Jamb, and Jamb replied her that her score was
yes, because the corporate affairs of Jamb has already said that in previous interview, that the first step to get your result is to send an SMS. And the SMS, when you send the SMS, it will give you your result. And that the girl did that. They have the record that he did that. So she had confirmed that this morning, that she did that. So she knew her scores. And she was trying to play on intelligence of innocence so that she can make money and do that. She didn't know how it came about.
She asked them, how did this one come about? She was lying to the public. So now, when you discovered that it was 249 that you scored from that message, from the reply from Jamb, how did 362 come about? She knew that the highest scored 360.
Yes.
And the highest is silent where she is. Then she decided to increase it by 2 scores. It is not your duty to announce yourself as having scored the highest. It is the duty of Jamb. So innocent, not waiting for Jamb to say, okay, this is the highest scorer, and relying on social media to try to reward a person. It says a lot about the corporate integrity of innocent itself.
All right, Mayor Akipolu, well, thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.
And the master himself, Babaji Dekolade Otitoju, thank you for always being there. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program at 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. See you tomorrow.
Is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Do you spend the night trying to get comfortable? Your knees rub bone on bone, your back and hips ache. You wake up in pain? Not anymore. ShopX TV is proud to introduce the Contour Legacy Pillow, the patented, ergonomically designed tapered leg pillow that naturally fits the contour